Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Barris here on a Thursday, and we have got a good show on tap for you. We're going to try to answer a lot of the questions people have with just some of the recent developments with regard to the COVID vaccine and the COVID vaccine boosters. In fact, today the CDC is supposed to do a final review on whether or not to approve boosters for Johnson & Johnson and Moderna. We already know Pfizer's in the books. And then we're hearing a lot in the news of late about, okay, does it matter if you had Pfizer? Can you get a Moderna vaccine booster and vice versa? If you mix and match, is that an issue? Is it better in some ways? If everything's equal, do you just go ahead and get the same shot again, the same type? All those are good questions. And against that backdrop, we all are keeping an eye out to see if there are other new strains of COVID appearing. And there is one being reported of late in Europe and Britain that they're keeping a close eye on. Not a major issue at this point, but it shouldn't come as anyone's surprise that we're going to see others. Just like the flu vaccine, they mutate and there may be changes along the way. We just hope it's not more serious. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, we can take some of your phone calls. We'll open up the phone lines just on where we stand on all this morning. And to answer those questions from Meharry is Dr. Calvin Smith. It's great to have him on. You were saying your Facebook memory page came up this morning, and what did it show?
I was zooming right here with you, basically.
A year ago.
A year ago.
You've been doing this a lot, and I can't thank you enough. You, Dr. Hildreth, and others, so many here in this community have just been fantastic. Meharry being a real leader in getting the word out.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a real, under the circumstances.
Yeah.
I wish it were something that we were not having to really see people die from, but at the same time to be able to talk to the community and everything like that has been nice.
Okay, so one reason, as you heard, the whole vaccine booster stage, we're really up to that now. Most of us now who did get shots, and I hope the vast majority, and there may be some out there who still haven't got them, and I don't want to debate the merits of vaccines. You know how I feel about that and what the doctors say.
Yeah.
But most of us got it, 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
What is the timetable? When are they saying you should go ahead and get boosters?
So this is the window. 6 to 9 months is what they're recommending.
Okay.
And this it fits right into what we usually do for most vaccines of this sort. So.
All right,
yeah.
About 6 to 8, 9 months. And all right, we already know that there was approval for Pfizer. Right. So today, I think the CDC is going to be looking at what's already been signed off on, I think was it by the FDA or whatever, on Johnson & Johnson and Moderna.
Yes.
So you anticipate they'll probably...
Yeah, I think that all the evidence is showing, just like what we expect, that they're safe and effective.
Okay. And the mixing and matching, let's talk a little bit about that. I think it's good because people may live in certain areas where only one shows up that they got another one before. What is your take on mixing and matching boosters with different types of vaccine brands?
So first and foremost, I want people to be worry-free. There's no worry whatsoever about mixing and matching in terms of safety.
Okay.
In terms of efficacy, it looks like, staying on brand probably is going to be your best bet, but also kind of looking really robustly at the studies, the Moderna's just a small bit in the lead in terms of efficacy, in terms of protecting people, and at a smaller dose, it looks like.
Okay, yeah, because they're saying maybe what will be approved for Moderna is half a dose. Yeah. Pfizer, we know, is a full dose. Yeah. What if someone gets a full dose of Moderna?
Shouldn't cause them any harm at all. No. The way that these vaccines work, they're just introducing that mRNA to the body. You might get just a little bit more robust of an immune response, which basically is the same thing as having the fever, having...
kind of what I had during my second shot.
Exactly. Lymph node swelling, and that's been reported. People have had a bit more swelling of the lymph nodes and things like that. But the lymph nodes are the education center for the IgG and IgM cells anyway. Yeah. So that's kind of what you want to know that it's working. Okay,
so yeah, it's usually about 24 hours. I just remember what I had. I've talked to some who have already gotten the Pfizer booster that were telling me that one, they some said, Nick, I had a little bit of soreness in my arm, felt nothing, fine, business as usual. Vicki Yates, who works here at News Channel 5, got her her booster. Nice. And she said she woke up in the middle of the night with those chills and kind of felt the fever, and then it went away and was fine. So is that pretty much the same we're seeing?
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. I've had my third. I had some pain in my arm. I had a little bit of chills, no fever this time, and a little bit of lymph node swelling.
That was it?
That was it.
Okay, so you would just say if you're feeling a little achy, take yourself an ibuprofen ibuprofen or something like that.
Exactly it,
but you're going to get better.
Yeah.
Is it true that the reaction is basically, that's telling you the antibodies are there and attacking?
That's
so
exactly
that's a good sign.
That's a great sign. As a matter of fact, speaking of ibuprofen and Tylenol and things like that, I want to remind people, don't take it beforehand because you might blunt that response. So make sure you take it afterward. Afterward is perfectly fine.
So don't prepare ahead of time. Get ready. You're going to have to feel it a little bit, but then you treat it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking I'll take it ahead of time and go. And with regard to, I guess you've been real clear on this then. So, because I was asking, I have Moderna, is there any additional advantage to getting something that's a little different that would broaden my coverage if I were to go get Pfizer instead? Meaning, you've already made it clear that you can get all three and it's going to still be as effective. Is there an advantage beyond that to getting maybe a different one?
Based on my knowledge and from my groups and everything like that, it doesn't appear to be any advantage to it. There's certainly no disadvantage to it.
Right.
But as far as going out of your way to try to mix and match, I would say probably try not to do that.
Gotcha. So just try to go to the same one. Or if you happen to live in an area where only one is being offered and you can't get to another location, don't worry about it. Go ahead if it's not the same. You'll
That's
be
exactly
fine.
right.
Let's take a call from Ann. I know she always has questions about this. Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning. I had my booster done the last week of August, and I am immunocompromised, so all of my shots were done without the benefit of the knowledge of how any of us would respond. And with the booster, I had absolutely no response whatsoever.
Wow.
I highly encourage everyone to take the booster. My shot was a full dose shot because of my immune system, and I have had the peace of mind and of knowing that I was fully protected. I still wear a mask. It has helped me traverse in and out of Vanderbilt Hospital for the last 3 weeks with the knowledge that I was fully protected, and I encourage everyone to do this, if for nothing else, the peace of mind of knowing that you are protected, your family is protected, and those around you are protected. And that is what we are all trying to accomplish.
Which one did you get, Ann? Was it Pfizer?
Moderna.
Oh, so you Moderna. Okay. So you got a third dose that was the full dose? Because I was asking, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that also. And it was fine with you?
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Great.
I had small reaction with the second shot. It aggravated my lupus. My doctors were on top of it. I was still anxious and wanted the booster, did not hesitate at all. My doctors were right on top of it, and I had absolutely no reaction whatsoever. But the peace of mind that it gave me and the ability to leave my house without worrying every time I left was worth 10 shots. I do it over and over and over again, and would tell everyone, do it for your families, do it for your loved ones, and do it for those that you don't know are immunocompromised.
Thank you. Fantastic. I couldn't say it any better than Ann did.
Yeah, I'm always happy to hear from Ann. Almost every time I'm on, Ann calls, and I appreciate hearing from her because her perspective is exactly it. I'm a pretty healthy person, and because I serve a population that is not healthy, I got the booster for them more than I did for me. And I think that, keeping that in mind, there's a lot of, contentiousness about talking about this in the community, but I really want people to just consider the people around them and the fact that these people all have stories. They have stories like Ann. They have stories like other people, my other patients with cancer and things like that. And people aren't obligated to tell you their story about what's going on with them, that they have cancer, that they have lupus, that they have HIV. That's not your business, really. And I know people are saying, well, it's not your business whether I get a vaccine or not. But the point about it is that you are protecting people around you by doing this, by wearing a mask. I still wear a mask. I've gone to 2 football games now so far.
I was going to ask you, right? Me too.
fully masked up. You know what I mean? When I have a beer, I'll pull my mask down, but put my mask right back up. And it's to protect the people around me. And I'm conscientious and considerate of the people around me. And that's what this is about.
Meaning that you could be an asymptomatic carrier and not know it because you have the vaccine and possibly give it to someone who is very susceptible to the illness.
That's exactly it.
And it makes that's what is so frustrating to me about folks, now that there's still those out there, and we'll talk more about it, that just choose not to get it, and it's their right not to get it. And it really is the larger picture here. What they seem to miss is like my rights. Well, you can't drink and drive either. My rights. It is a public health issue.
Yes.
This is not someone willy-nilly saying, oh, we want you to wear a mask or get the shot because, we just want to force you to do something you don't want to do. It's a public health issue. It affects everyone. It's not just about you. And there's so many tragic cases. As we go to the break, local media, including News Channel 5, yesterday reported on this case of a woman up in Kentucky who was pregnant with a child. And it's been pretty clear that pregnant women can get these vaccines safely, correct?
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know where she got her bad information, but this woman apparently had some miscarries prior, was desperate to have this child, was pregnant, and I understand maybe in her mind taking every precaution and put off getting the vaccine, thinking that would protect the child, even though it's been clear, meaning that she'd rather take a shot at maybe getting sick with COVID than taking the shot of the vaccine, which would have protected her, and was already said not to be any harm to the child. Well, you know what happened? She got COVID. She gave birth through C-section. She died. She never even got to hold the child. Breaks my heart. Had she gotten the vaccine, had she had good information, she'd be alive today holding her baby. Instead, that baby now doesn't have a mother because she didn't get vaccinated because she had bad information.
Yeah, and the bad information is the really key part here, Nick.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart on that.
We have opportunities, and this is why when I come on here very seriously, why I study the night before I come on here and talk to you, because I really want to make sure I'm giving good information, factual information, and I don't care about politics. I'm very clear about this. The virus doesn't go vote. The virus doesn't have any political alignment. The virus affects all of us equally. Skin color, background, how much money you have, it doesn't matter. And the misinformation that has gotten out here and the way that it has divided people.
And there are nurses who are in the medical community and others that are still not doing it. You got this football coach at Washington State University that's now going to sue because he got canned because he and his staff are not complying with state regs, and he should have gotten canned. And now he's suing because he says this is wrong. It's not fair that I'm being fired from because he won't get the vaccine. What on earth? And you see this stuff, and if we were on social media this morning, which we're not because sometimes there's so much crap going out there, there'd be people saying, I'm not putting that poison in my arm.
And go pick up a cigarette or go pick up some
or
take
whiskey. A shot. Poison in your arm or take poison in your arm.
It's bad.
Stunning. Folks, be smart. Don't be dumb. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take more phone calls, and we'll get into more of the details with the doctor about these vaccines. If you have questions, as well as, questions about some of these new strains of COVID perhaps surfacing. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, I'm Michael Ponce of Ponce Law. As Nashville has grown, so have the number of trucking accidents. At Ponce Law, we represent people injured in trucking accidents and their families. We're honored to be the only law firm in Nashville to receive the Better Business Bureau Torch Award for ethical commerce. So call us today at 615-244-4321.
See how your business can earn the competitive advantage of accreditation. Visit bbb.org.
Life has taught you many lessons, like word of mouth means words you can trust, and 4 out of 5 customers would recommend a Cigna Medicare Advantage plan to their friends and family, because we strive to deliver high-quality plans at the best price for you. Call 1-877-758-4035 to get an affordable Cigna Medicare Advantage plan. With no monthly premium, no primary doctor copay, no copay for many prescription drugs, and only a $5 specialist copay. Plus, we constantly partner with local doctors so that their quality of care meets your standards. You've also learned to plan before you proceed. Head in the right direction. Call now for our free Medicare Advantage Guide. Medicare annual enrollment is here. Get the best plan for you at the right price. Call 1-877-758-4035. That's 1-877-758-4035. Or go to GetCignaMedicare.com because life has taught you well.
Today, we went to the National Mall and to speak with historian Lonnie Bunch. What do you think history teaches us about this moment we're in?
This is a time for us not to rest.
State police are here. You can see them behind me holding down this block. Behind them are the firefighters. They are dousing the flames.
Jeff Pegues, who has been doing terrific reporting all week since this story broke. Tonight, there's more encouraging news in the development of 2 experimental vaccines. Dr. Fauci, what are you hopeful about?
Well, my hope is that we get through this and that we could put coronavirus behind us.
¿Dónde está?
They were clapping for me, but I should have been clapping for them. Those are the heroes.
Those heroes who save lives. They can't be thanked enough.
The CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell from Washington, D.C.
MorningLine on News Channel 5 Plus lets you sound
We
off.
are, I think, the only show like it on the air right now in town.
A show driven by hot takes and experts on hot topics.
We have guests who really know what they're talking about.
Host News Channel 5's Nick Barris is ready to listen.
Let's take some phone calls. Start things off with Joe. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
And always in contact.
You can message me through Facebook.
Watch MorningLine with Nick Barris. Weekday mornings beginning at 8 on News Channel 5 Plus.
We are back on Morning Line. Our guest with us this morning is Dr. Calvin Smith from Meharry. We're taking your phone call 737-7587 about the vaccine boosters, the latest on COVID. It's good to have you on as always. Pleasure. My friend, we've become friends. Still haven't gone out to eat yet, and we're going to do that. But I mean, I really appreciate you coming on.
It's my pleasure.
I think you guys help a lot of people. Mark waited through the break. Let's take a quick call from him. Mark, good morning. Hi, Mark.
Good.
Are you there, Mark?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, what's up?
I have a question. How come some people get the shot and then they still catch the virus?
Okay. Yeah, it's a fair question. Let's talk about the breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Nothing's 100% effective.
Nothing on earth is 100% effective that we know of.
Okay.
And this is true for the virus. This is true for coronavirus. People have had breakthrough cases. The big deal about getting the vaccine is that it dramatically reduces your risk of having a severe case.
Right.
We know this. This has been documented. Now, this is not to say that you still might not get a severe case, as is the case with, the great General Colin Powell, who passed away recently. He unfortunately succumbed to the virus.
But he was in his 80s and he had some other health problems.
He had multiple myeloma. He also had a history of prostate cancer. He had a lot of things going on. His immune system was severely compromised, and he's who we get protected for. But putting that on the back burner, there are people who do get the coronavirus, who get a symptomatic case of coronavirus from even being vaccinated. That will happen, but the point is that it dramatically reduces your risk of dying from coronavirus. And the more people who get vaccinated, the fewer people who will actually transmit it and give it out and around. So imagine this, if everybody in the room is vaccinated, even if coronavirus is bouncing around in the room and one of us happens to hold on to it and become a vector for it, if everybody else is vaccinated, it's very difficult for that coronavirus to gain entry to all of us in the room.
Right.
So only the most severely immunocompromised of us would get it, and then even then, like I said, their chances of dying are much less. We're looking at I look pretty intensely at the hospitalized and particularly the ICU rates.
Yeah.
And in our ICUs, almost exclusively these patients are unvaccinated. And those are the facts. I mean, you can argue about, well, people get it and people can carry it and people can transmit it to one another. But if you are vaccinated, you're much less likely to have to go to a hospital, much less likely to be transmitting it to other people for long periods of time. Yeah. If I'm vaccinated, I might get it. It bounces off of me in a couple of days. I'm done. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But if you are unvaccinated, you're holding on to this virus for days at a time, 7 to 14 days of just transmitting the virus to everybody around you.
Yeah.
And that's the danger. So again, no hospitals are full of people with side effects from COVID.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Everyone's talking about, that virus or that vaccine's scary. That's there. Hospitals don't have anyone in there because of the vaccine. And yet people are still saying, it's poison, it's poison. It's like, no, it's not. No one's sick in the hospital with the vaccine. They're sick in the hospital with COVID. you know, the snap from Thanos in the Infinity Wars? If I was Thanos and had the, you know, Infinity Stones, I'd snap my fingers because we know exactly what it takes to beat this.
Yeah.
If somehow, some way, every person on the planet was vaccinated against COVID, that virus, that nasty virus, would have no place to go and it would wither and die.
Yeah.
But instead, we have people not getting vaccinated, not being, you know, wearing masks, and their bodies are becoming petri dishes to allow those viruses to mutate, and so that we have to keep adapting.
Yeah.
But we know exactly how to kill this thing.
Yeah.
Kill it so it has no place to go, and it's all she wrote. By the way, if you are, you make it real clear. You're vaccinated so that if you get sick, because you're vaccinated, the odds are you're not going to get severely ill.
Right.
But also, by having that vaccination, for instance, you and I both went to the Titans game on Monday. It was crowded. One reason I went, I would not have gone had I not been vaccinated. But I have no doubt there were a lot of people around me probably not vaccinated.
Sure.
I, too, wear a mask, but I didn't wear it the whole time. But does the vaccination also help, like, if somehow I inhale the virus from someone near me and I'm vaccinated, but it's not a big dose, is it possible then that it just stops it at the door of my nose and it doesn't infect me more? I mean, does it also provide that kind of protection, or does the vaccine only protect you once you get infected?
No, it also provides that kind of
meaning, like, I've got kind of a shield there where it knocks on the nose here and it's trying to get into me, but because I'm vaccinated, it kind of kills it right there on the spot before it can really take hold.
Yeah, your body has specialized cells that are in your skin, you know, your mucous membranes, etc., that also are learning from IgG and IgM and can protect you. So yes.
Okay. Just so there's so many benefits to it, and I would not be going to something. I went to the Rolling Stones concert a couple of weeks back. Crowded there too. Oh, it was a ball. And I would not have gone had I not been vaccinated, knowing I have an extra layer of that. Again, I brought a mask with me like you did, but I'll tell you, at these events, no one around me is wearing masks.
Yeah.
Okay, no one is. And again, I'll wear my mask to protect others, I suppose, but I did. Let's face it, you're at the concert, you're cheering, I took it off.
Let me say, there's good news out here, you know, because I get the stats, you know, from Board of Health. The numbers are improving pretty rapidly. And it looks like people, you know, a large number of people, especially here in the city, are at least partially vaccinated, which is, you know, about the best we can ask for. In Nashville, we're doing as all things considered, I mean, we're not doing fantastic, but we're doing a really good job here in the city of Nashville. And I want to commend the citizens here because, you know, there's a lot of information out there, and they are choosing to listen to scientists, you're choosing to listen to doctors. There are people that, you know, I mean, and I want to open the doors to people who have some hesitancy, because you shouldn't just buy into every single thing. I feel that. I understand that. But talk to experts about it. Don't talk to somebody, or don't sit and watch a YouTube video on the toilet and think, okay, this has the answers because this tells me what I want to hear. Talk to somebody who might tell you something you might not want to hear, but talk to them with an open mind and listen to what they have to say. I have grace for a lot of, you know, again, a lot of people who have decided after the fact that, hey, you know, I'm going to go ahead and get a vaccine, and that's perfectly fine by me. And I want to have some grace and openness to those people as well, because, you know, that's what it's going to take at this point, is us, like, talking to one another, having a civil conversation. You know, there was a story about a doctor at a bar who sat and talked to a guy who was kind of hesitant about it and told him the facts as he saw him. And the guy left and went ahead and got the vaccine. And stories like that, you know, where somebody's talked to civilly without, you know, breaking a bottle and, you know, all these kind of things, you know, like, it used to be we could talk to one another and just have a good conversation and go away, maybe not necessarily agreeing 100%, but taking some points away from the person who has an opposite view of you. Now we're at each other's throats, and it shouldn't be that way. And we really are harming ourselves more by doing stuff like that. So
just don't listen to Nicki Minaj.
I wonder how her cousin's doing.
Oh yeah, because he had a swollen groin. Whatever. He's probably VD. All right, let's go to Gina. Gina, good morning. Hi, Gina.
Hey, good morning,
Good
guys.
morning. What's on your mind?
It's so full, I don't know where to start. Listen, I am not vaccinated.
Okay.
I'm not against the vaccine at all. I need someone to study my body first.
Okay.
And I say that because I'm a person, I'm 67, never been on any medication in my life. So several years ago, I've been in the medical field for 25 years. At one point, it was required that all healthcare individuals would have to take that hepatitis series vaccine. I took the very first one, had a reaction that almost put me in the hospital. If it hadn't been the doctors right there at my aid. Come find out, I had immune system already built up against the hepatitis. So I was really putting myself in danger, but not knowing. So it brings me to this point. I need to be tested first to see if I need the vaccine or not.
Like maybe you've already had it and you think you may already have antibodies and be prepared for it?
I do believe, I think my daughter had it last year, and because I was at her aid trying to get her better, I came back home that very night and I started to feel funny. Told my husband, I said, I feel like I'm coming down with the flu. He said, well, you just left them over there sick. But anyway, it passed. The next day I was okay.
Yeah.
I need to know what test to take to see if I have the antibodies already built up. Now,
okay. How do you want to address that? There are people that have had it that have gone and gotten vaccines.
So I don't think that's unreasonable at all.
No, no. This is a rational woman. I want to answer her question, and fair enough.
So what I would suggest is to go and actually, there are antibody tests that you can get.
Right.
You can see what your antibody levels are if you've been exposed. So first step is to see whether you are positive for COVID right now or not. If you're positive for COVID right now, it's not recommended for you to get the vaccine. Okay. So get tested to see whether you're positive or not. Then you can get the antibody test. Now, the antibody test may cost, and I know in the past a lot of these tests have been free, and it very well may still be free. I don't concern myself with these kind of things a lot of the times because I'm really more concerned with getting people, what is available and free. With that being said, get tested for the antibodies. If your antibody levels are at a sufficient level to protect you, then it may be fine to go ahead and not get the vaccine. The problem is, and this is why the vaccine had to be developed, is that the natural immunity in the body does give you some natural immunity after a COVID infection. We know this for sure. The natural immunity does not last as long as we want it to or need it to. So the natural immunity lasts maybe 3 months or so, and then you're right back down to the regular risk.
So your point is that there are folks out there saying, I don't need to go get the vaccine because I've had COVID and I recovered, so I should be protected. If you've had COVID and have recovered, you still should get a vaccine.
That's exactly it. And there's a precedent for this kind of thing out here. I mean, there have been viruses like polio, smallpox, the chickenpox. We don't see a whole lot of chickenpox anymore. Measles, and all of these things, were basically eradicated because of vaccines. And again, the body has natural immunity the body is remarkable in that it can recover. If you recover from an illness, you're going to protect yourself for a little bit of period of time. But what we found and what science has shown us is that we can boost our immune systems. And there's nothing harmful or wrong about that. People's lives are not shortened by boosting their immune systems with vaccines. People's lives are actually extended by boosting their immune systems. We've studied these vaccines inherently for years. This particular vaccine came from the same studies that we were doing for SARS and for MERS, which occurred over a decade ago. So it's not like this research is brand new. It's not like we're experimenting, because you hear that a lot.
Right.
This is the most robust study that has been done pretty much in the history of humankind. I mean, there have been so many people who have been quote unquote tested, and at this point the evidence is there and is very, very strong that you will extend your life. You will protect yourself from this dangerous virus, and this virus, no doubt, kills people. Now, some people get the virus and do completely fine, but again, it's like playing Russian roulette. You got 3 bullets in the chamber. Why not take those 3 bullets out,
Oh, absolutely, and that's how you do it with the vaccine. I've said this before. The development of vaccines, not just COVID, but across the board in human history, ranks right up there, in my opinion, among the most important most important developments that humans have made in history.
Absolutely.
Saved millions. Vaccines an incredible achievement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible achievement. Cannot be underestimated how many lives vaccines over decades have saved. We'll take a break. When we come back, more of your phone calls right after this.